Well, Diana Dors is probably the ultimate glamour queen. A lot of people probably haven't heard of her today. Maybe some have because it's still a cult following. But she was billed as a Marilyn Monroe lookalike, but she was an actress in her own right from the UK well before Marilyn Monroe. And, the cool thing is I don't want to put all this stuff out here about some of the rumors and stuff. I'm just going to give you it straight from Wikipedia. But she was, in my opinion, she's a total hottie, and she lived a whole life of a total hottie. That's my opinion on it, and I'm not being judgmental on it because, sometimes the religious get a little crazy with all this type of stuff. Ultimately, she met her demise from ovarian cancer, and my opinion on this, again, would be that she died really from the hands of the chemotherapy. And unfortunately, there was probably other methods out there. But, when you're in Hollywood, it seems to be that you become victimized by, the professionals with the big bucks all around you that have all the credentials, supposedly. Almost like Angelina Jolie. I don't know what's going to happen to her sometime in the future, but I don't know how many more body parts she can remove. It's a shame, but I'm not really a fan of Angelina Jolie because she's not a blonde. Anyway, but the thing is, Diana Dors, let me just give you on a little brief, but some of the other things about it, and I'm going to talk about some other things I actually put out on videos because I really can't prove this medically because I don't have gazillions of dollars to go prove it, but I have a very, let's say, good, actually some of the stuff most of the stuff I get is actually from medical people, but anyway, Diana Dors was born Diana Mary Fluck in 1931, and she died in 1984, and I think it was age 52, age 52, so she was an English actress. She became public notice as the blonde bombshell in the style of Marilyn Monroe, but actually she was an actress way before Marilyn Monroe hit the scene, she played in a lot of different movies, and the thing is, at the time, everybody was trying to be like Marilyn Monroe, I guess, but, she was an actress in her own right. But, the one thing I thought was kind of cool about her, too, is, and you notice there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Hollywood, but she threw a lot of crazy parties. There's actually ongoing litigation even going on today about this, and they describe him as lewd or whatever they call him, but I think she's cool, to tell you the truth, man. She, this is straight from Wikipedia, so I'll give you the tame version. Parties during her relationship with Hamilton and until a few months before her death, Dors regularly held adult parties at her home. In other words, there was a number of celebrities amply supplied with alcohol and drugs mixed with young starlets against the background of both soft and hardcore porn films. Dors also gave her guests full access to the entire house, which her son Jason Lake alleged in various media interviews and publications. She had equipped with 8mm movie cameras. So she's the Bill Clinton of the she's the Bill Clinton of the starlet. But I'm not judging her bad. I know there's going to be people judging her bad about this. It's a shame she died, man. It's a shame that people like this, if they did the mega vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, frequency generators, Chinese herbs and stuff, she probably wouldn't have any ovarian cancer. She'd probably be alive today. She'd be young and, living up life to the fullest and, telling the doctors to go screw, the hell with you. The young starlets were made aware of the arrangements in the house, the house parties, and they were allowed to attend for free in return for making sure that their celebrity partners performed in bed at the right camera angles. I don't know if this is, how true it is, and I'm not making a judgment on this. I personally think it's cool, so I don't give a damn, So then Dors would this is on Wikipedia now. I'm giving it down Wikipedia. So, and I'm not making a judgment on her, man. I think she's cool, to tell you the truth. It's a shame she died. Dors would have enjoyed watching the films and followed the following morning, keeping an archive of the best performances. And, she became an early subject of celebrity expose tabloids because, everybody, goes to church. They want to know about these things. They want to know. They want to be part of it, but they want to deny it. And they say, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, yeah, right. Bunch of damn hypocrites, man. Probably got the Iranian clergy doing this type of stuff. The clerics, whatever the hell they are, they're probably doing the same damn thing. They probably got blondes up there in their whatever the hell you call that, in their Muslim temples, whatever the hell those things are. But anyway, so the thing is, actually, there's been a lot of stories about coming out today in litigations and things. But it's a shame she actually had to die from something that I think was caused by the doctors, because when she took the chemotherapy, she started gaining weight, and then she tried to lose the weight, and she did lose the weight because of the ovarian cancer. She was taking chemotherapy. But then what happened was, they had to give her more chemotherapy, and, she gained more weight, and then she wasn't out in the public as much, which I'm sure that freaking affected her a lot. That's a shame. Because, unlike Marilyn Monroe, I don't think Diana Dors ever ratted anybody out, man. It was like, you could depend upon her. Marilyn Monroe, I'll tell you why she died. She was ratting out people left and right. That's why. They killed her, man. Because she was just ratting out everybody and everybody there was. In the case of Diana Dors, she was just out there to have fun. There was a lot of stuff that went on. And, it was all kept on her lid, and the hell with it. She's a cool chick, man. I'll tell you that right now. I know somebody's gonna maybe look at this video and say, what the hell is it? I'm not knocking her. I think she was good to go. But it's a shame that, in today's day and age, and actually when she died, I think it was later on. It was, this was in 80s. Actually at the time it was even known for even some decades about the. She died in 84. It was already well known. It was also being well publicized about, the effects of vitamin C and what could be done to, minimize cancers and things like that. Unfortunately, she didn't know about this or whatever the hell it was. But, the other thing is she supposedly had a lot of money squirreled away. And it was in a secret code. And, she really did. I think it was millions of dollars and millions of pounds or whatever it was. And it was actually a famous thing where they tried to break the code. And they did break the code, but they couldn't find the account. It's still lost till today. The money is still lost today. It's still sitting in some bank someplace. Probably some ratty freaking banker probably got it, But, the cool thing about her, though, is like, she really lived the life of the Hollywood starlet. And she kept her mouth shut, which is cool. The thing is, a lot of people, like, they're always looking for, as soon as they do something with somebody, they're always looking for, oh, that's a harassment suit. She was just having fun. You know what I mean? So, but it's a shame she actually died because, she'd be, the thing is, it's a matter of why, people are so judgmental of this, yet they partake in it. How many people out today are coming out, and they wouldn't say nothing about what the parties back when she was alive. It came out later after she died. Now, I'm emphasizing the parties on this, on this video, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, it's a fun thing, And actually, the only thing that you really got to worry about, I guess, is, the STDs and things like that. But, the problem is, probably most of the stuff is actually far more curable than people say. And, I have to tell you this, though, also, that, the religious are some of the biggest hypocrites in the world. Because, you'll see, pastors, ministers, Iranian clerics, the Saudi family, the people way up in their Buddha land over there in India, they're all doing these type of things more than anybody. And, even the, who the hell was it? The chief of, what was it? The policeman that was in charge of, trying to go after prostitutes in Tehran. He was caught naked with a bunch of naked prostitutes. That was a few years ago in Iran. I mean, they're all a bunch of hypocrites, man. Every single one of them. So, I mean, it's almost like, actually the only big danger to this, well, actually she died of cancer. And actually, I say she died at the hands of the doctors. Why did she actually lose her figure at the end there? It was due to the chemotherapy. She was poisoned. It's amazing. I'm actually reading stuff from, I don't know what major cancer society it is or whatever it is. I don't know if it's I don't know what it was, but I was reading something about, they were recommending that you do not take vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, and vitamin D while you're undergoing radiation therapy, because the radiation therapy is designed to kill the cancer cells, and those antioxidants would be working against the radiation. I'm thinking to myself, God, man, it's like these people aren't that stupid. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, maybe these vitamins aren't going to freaking stop cancer 100%, but they probably will, in enough dosages, improve your quality of life. We all know what happens with the radiation therapy. That stuff pretty much don't work, right? Unless it's really targeted very much pinpoint. And the same thing with the chemotherapy, unless it's targeted very pinpoint and it's got a very skilled doctor, you know, it doesn't work, you know. Normally it doesn't work. It's been, you know, I mean, this is not even like an unknown fact I'm putting out here. You know, she was killed by these people, basically. And I don't know why she got ovarian cancer, whatever it was. You know, it could have been something from, you know, maybe partners, you know, she had. I don't know, you know, because, you know, a lot of times people don't realize this, actually. And this is one thing I actually want to put out about, you know, this type of stuff with, you know, people are in these parties and all this kind of stuff. Because actually cancer could be an STD. So could Lyme disease can be an STD. So, I mean, a lot of these people are, you know, taking a lot of risk in a lot of different ways. They don't realize. But, you know, maybe she possibly got cancer as an STD. You never know. It could be. It could be. That's a theory. But, you know, cancers can be actually inside other parasites. And, you know, what's a shame is that people with the most money in Hollywood and stuff like that, they get hoodwinked by the biggest bucks doctors going. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. But, you know, I've been reading extensively about this stuff for a lot of decades, and I can tell you right now, yeah, there is a lot of bullshit out there in the freaking alternative medicine world. There is. There is a lot. There is a lot of exaggerations, a lot of lies, but I have to tell you one thing, it's not all snake oil. Not all of it. You know, because actually when you stick with what the ancients said, you know, and, you know, actually if you're going to go to one of these parties and stuff like that, probably a concoction of, you know, garlic, onions, and whatever, everybody would be smelling kind of funny, but, you know, the thing is, and ginger and, turmeric and all that type of stuff. It ought to be sprinkled everywhere out in the room, you know. But, you know, actually, this one, I think she's the number one hottie of the freaking 1950s and 60s and 70s, for sure, and even in the early 80s. Because, you know, she actually lived a life. I mean, she was a true actress. You know, I don't consider Marilyn Monroe an actress, man. I mean, I was like, I don't know why she's billed as the number one blonde bombshell, and everybody was following her back in the 50s. I think Diana Dors actually exceeds her. And like I said, she was a true actress before Marilyn Monroe actually came on the scene. You know, and later on they're calling Diana Dors somebody that is, you know, a copycat. No, not at all, not at all. So anyway, you know, I just want to make you aware if this is probably the well, today maybe she's a little bit more unknown. I think maybe she is. She's got some cult followings. But, you know, the cool thing is she actually lived a life. And on top of it, she kept her mouth shut. And, you know, people around her didn't talk about what was going on until after she died. And, you know, now they're like, I don't know. I don't like it because, you know, now they're like, you know, they probably were all there having fun. And they will not admit to anything they were doing, right? But you know what happens? Oh, yeah, I was just there having a bunch of laughs. You know, I was reading some of the lawsuits and stuff these guys were saying. Like, get the hell out of here, man. Tell me another one, man. Get the hell out of here, man. You know, you're going to hang around this place for freaking 8 to 12 hours with a bunch of hot young babes and not do anything, you know, just have a bunch of laughs. Yeah. Anyway, but, you know, the thing is, you know, she was cool because, you know, like I said, she kept her mouth shut. Marilyn Monroe, she opened her mouth. Anyway, you know, this Diana Dors, we need a lot more of these types today, and get rid of the Hillarys. That's for sure. Because, you know, the problem is, you know, pretty much everybody today is looking for an angle for, you know, hey, this is sexual harassment. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. You know, back in the 50s, it wasn't like that. Not at all. Well, yes and no. Yes and no, but not the way it is today. It's a little ridiculous. And, you know, the cool thing, like I said, is like, you know, she could have actually, I think she could have actually been alive today. What the hell? She born in 31. She'd have been like 80-something years old. She'd have been alive, you know. There's a few of them out there still from the 30s that are still alive today. I don't want to mention any names, but, you know, and they're still having fun, and they still, like, look hot and whatever the hell it is. And, you know, actually, I think that it's possible that people could live for centuries. And, you know, I know there's a lot of these high-tech billionaires talking about, yeah, we're going to be living for, like, forever because we got new ways of freaking taking certain nutrients and stuff like that. But like I put out something before about with the working class, probably like the vitamin C, the mega doses, one of the cheapest. I know there's a lot of other antioxidants out there, but bang for the buck, vitamin C, you really can't beat it. I mean, alpha lipoic acid is probably considered a stronger antioxidant. You got L-glutathione, things like that. But for the money and availability, vitamin C, you can't beat that. One of the things, keep your skin young, keep your body young, keep your ligaments young, all your collagen. The baking soda water to raise your oxygen levels, the NAC, which is actually for your immune system, but also, which is a protein, very cheap, $20 for a year's supply, NAC, but also it will help with your cardiovascular system and all that buildup you have in your cardiovascular system, so you don't have a heart attack like in a young age. Like some people have, they lived a great life and they have a heart attack at 45 or something, and it's like in coconut oil. Coconut oil will actually help your mind, your clarity of thought, raise the ketones, also to lower your cholesterol, but that's not really an important point, but also lower your blood sugar, and keep your skin young, and stay young and vibrant. So, it's a shame that a lot of people don't know about these things, but, I mean, I'm not really against hedonism as long as you take it responsibly. But most people don't. That's the problem. And I guess Diana Dors could be considered like the actress. Actually, I think of Marilyn Monroe as the copycat of Diana Dors. Diana Dors was first. She already was the hottie. She already came from the UK. She already was an established actress. I don't know why they keep freaking saying that Diana Dors is a Marilyn Monroe lookalike when it should be Marilyn Monroe is the Diana Dors lookalike. And the other thing is I have to say I highly, highly respect Diana Dors for is that, she was out for fun. She really believed in her religion was fun, I guess. That's the way I'm looking at it. And the thing is, it's not like she was out for number one all the time like Marilyn Monroe, and she did not rat anybody out. So she's cool. So you want to look at this video and take it for what it's worth, but it's almost like, the religious are so judgmental, but you know what? I can tell you what, the more religious that they are, probably more likely, the more hypocrite they are. It's almost a guarantee. Almost a guarantee, man. Especially up there in Tehran. I can tell you that right now. And I know she doesn't wear a veil, but so what? You know what? When you're in Tehran and you're up there in a mosque and you're with the right clerics, they don't wear veils. I guarantee you that right now. So anyway, over and out. And, I have theories on what can actually prevent all kinds of cancers and STDs. Theories, but I think they're good theories. Not to take them as gospel, but, there's an old Roman saying, the truth is muddy and the truth shall prevail. And guess what? We're going to find out one way or the other. That's it. And if we find out, maybe we should have a Diana Dors tribute society as a good thing, because I don't think any of the stuff she did was bad. I mean, right now they're freaking. I mean, she made a lot of great movies, and I'm emphasizing the parties, but I'm emphasizing the part that she really was. She lived the whole life of what is cool. Really, she was a hedonist in a way, and she cared about her family because she stashed away the millions. Unfortunately, the one guy committed suicide before he can get it, and they cracked the code, but they didn't know the bank, so it's still lost today. But, I think, she had a hardcore discipline within inside of her, and, she didn't rat out her people that are around her. So, she's good to go. That's all my opinion. She's good to go. Unlike Marilyn Monroe, she freaking is. If they're teaching Marilyn Monroe today in the history books, they ought to be teaching Diana Dors. That's for sure.